And a good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mondays with the Mayor. We're broadcasting this show live with the Mayor of Cape Coral, John Gunter, who joins us now from Tallahassee. Good evening, Mayor. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Appreciate you taking the time. What is the purpose of the visit to Tallahassee?
Yeah, each year, a group of us from council, and then sometimes I come up by myself, another trip as well, just advocating for the needs of Cape Coral, some of the policies that we're supporting, and just making sure we get that either that asked or that message, to our legislators. I met with the Deputy Secretary of Florida Department of Environmental Protection today. I'm meeting with the Florida Emergency Management tomorrow. So, it's a busy 3 days up here.
Okay, so you guys are up there for 3 days. Is the entire group of council members, have they arrived yet, or they come up like as the days go along?
No, I think everybody come up last night. I think we all got in here last night, and we hit the ground running. I think our first meeting this morning was about 9 o'clock, and probably got wrapped up about 4. So, we had I don't know, probably at least 8 or so meetings today with legislators or at the governor's office for his staff. So very busy day.
So, I know there's usually like a list of things that each municipality wants to ask for when they go up to visit Tallahassee. Is there like a top 3 priority list that you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple, we have some policy initiatives that we're trying to support and get through. One is the restructure of our TDC. That's a local bill that was introduced by our local delegation. So we're trying to advocate for that particular bill and get that to move forward and get approved. Also, there are some, one of the reasons why I met with FDEP today was some, I guess, guidelines that our water management district follows in our area that's different from some of the other policies and other water districts throughout the state. So we're trying to make sure that everyone's kind of in the same area. So there's an area that is detrimental to our area as far as the policy that our South Florida Water Management District has that some of the other districts don't have, that we're advocating for a change there. And then there's some state appropriations. We have about 3 different programs that we're advocating. One is some grant funding for our utility expansion project, so we can help our residents that have to pay that that connection fee. So we're advocating for a $10 million ask there. We have about 3,400 parcels in our next utility expansion project that we're trying to help those property owners in their connection fees. Transportation project, there's a emergency evacuation route on Northeast 24th Avenue that will link up with Del Prado North, so we're advocating for that. And then we also have a rapid emergency response vehicle that we put in for state appropriation funding as well. So we're advocating for that as well.
And of course, the biggest topic is the property tax reform that a lot of municipalities are worried about. And I spent, I don't know how many hours trying to find anybody that's from our area that knows exactly what I'm trying to figure out what bill to keep an eye on, so that the residents of Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, whatever, can focus on or learn about. It seemed like at the beginning there were 8 bills. I don't know if there are still 8 bills. You guys had a very detailed presentation from your staff on the impacts of property tax reform. It almost was like you went through every single possibility so that at least the council started to get an idea of what might happen. Where is this? Where does all this stand? What bill should we look at?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's two of the specific bills that are gaining momentum. But everything is still on the table right now. And I can honestly say, even speaking with our legislators today, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what direction it's going to go. You got the House has, their several versions. You got the Senate now trying to decide what they want to do. And at some point in time, sessions just started. So, they haven't really worked out the details for any of these yet. What I was told early on was even the bills, the way they're structured today, probably won't be the bills that may even be up for vote through the legislation later on to even see if they'll move forward for a referendum. So a lot of unknowns here. And I think that's why most cities and counties are, a little on edge because nobody really knows exactly what we're doing yet. So we'll just have to see where that shakes out.
Is it safe to say that you think something will pass in this session that will impact? Is that what is Dane telling you anything, or any of the reps telling you anything? Do they think anything is going to pass in this session?
Well, a lot of people, some people are saying yes, something of some sort's going to probably at least come up for a vote to see if it'll move forward. And I've heard other people say that they would be surprised if the House and Senate, because they're so far off at this point, will come up with something collectively that they could both support. So, you're just hearing a lot of mixed signals right now.
Do you feel like you'll have enough time to implement something back home if something passes in this session? And maybe I'm just throwing questions out here with no answers to, but because you wouldn't even know when it couldn't go into effect right away. You need some kind of lead time.
Yeah, I would assume that it's not going to go out for referendum and on the ballot in November, and if it's approved, boom, it takes effect. There's got to be some type of a grace period there. So we'll just see. I'm sure we have many hours more of discussion as far as the legislators up here in Tallahassee before we even could get to a compromise, I think, where they both can agree and move it forward. So, we're just going to have to monitor it. I know the Florida League of Cities is very engaged in the conversation. Just about every other municipality that I happen to run into in a hallway today, they're concerned. So, it's the big elephant in the room that nobody knows. So I think that's why there's a lot of fear.
Gotcha. Okay, so back home last week, you guys approved the Seven Islands project, big, nice project for the Cape. What do you think something like that means to Cape Coral, and what have you heard about the timeline for the first shovel in the ground?
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this many times. Great project. This particular project started back in 2015 with a vision plan. 2016, the D1 concept plan, after many community engagements, was developed and everybody kind of approved. The zoning change for MX7 happened in 2019. RFP was put out in 2021. Forest Development Group that we're dealing with now was chosen as the developer that we wanted to work with. So this is a long project that's been going on for many years.
Nope. Looks like we froze up there a little bit, so we're going to see if we can try and contact the mayor and continue the discussion. Froze up. We were talking about the Seven Islands project. Sometimes you have to just he's calling in from Tallahassee, and we were talking about the Seven Islands project. Might need to log out and back in. And then we had a list including the Yacht Club to talk to him about. Let me see if we can get him out of the picture there so we can reboot and then come back in. So Mayor Gunter is in Tallahassee right now. There he's rebooting out. So we'll get him back in here. And we were chatting about the Seven Islands project that was approved last week. And then we were going to go on to the Yacht Club. And also I wanted to ask him to clarify the new median parking rules that seem to be a little bit of a cloudy with some people in Cape Coral, so we had that on the list too. And if you just joined us, yes, Nancy, no clapping in the background, please. If you just joined us late, the beginning of the show, we talked about the property tax situation that everybody is kind of on edge about. We did talk about that with the mayor of Fort Myers Beach yesterday too, and he basically said kind of the same thing, that everybody's just kind of wait to see what happens. I was hoping to get some information from Adam Botana, but his dad had just passed away, so he was taking care of all that. So if we can get maybe Adam to talk about the issue, that would be great. Maybe get a little more clarity on the property tax reform that is up in Tallahassee. Several members of the Cape Coral City Council are up there in Tallahassee. We saw some candidates are also up there. It would be nice. I would love to go up there one time and see exactly how the sausage is made in Tallahassee. So that'll be an interesting thing to try and get done. So there you are. You're all back in, and
Yeah, sorry about that. Looks like I lost internet.
oh, okay. Well, you're good to go now. And by the way, is it cold up there in Tallahassee? I know it's supposed to get cold back down here, but how cold
Yeah,
is it
it's
up there?
40 is about 42 is a high today, and it's
Oh,
gonna be
wow.
20 tonight, so it's cold.
Oh, that's crazy for Florida.
Yeah.
But you were just I think you were finishing up on the Seven Islands to maybe if you knew when we might see a shovel in the ground.
Yeah, they're still waiting on the Army Corps permit. They're hoping to have that here by the end of the year. That, of course, that's the first thing they're going to be doing is the seawalls. Then they'll start their horizontal infrastructure work, road impact fees, and then the next phase will be Island 7 to work on the community center. As you know, they've got you know, some work to do. Waiting for there's some design, some permitting that they can do as far as the structures while they're waiting on the Army Corps. So I know they'll be working in parallel. As soon as the Army Corps permits are issued, I know they're going to get on the seawalls right away.
Oh, the good old Army Corps of Engineers, which seems to delay every single project that that's going on, not only in the Cape but everywhere around Southwest Florida. So let's move on to the Yacht Club.
Yeah, one thing, if you don't mind, I'd like to mention, because I think it's extremely important to understand with Seven Islands. You know, I've heard some people ask, you know, what are they paying for it? How much money is going to be left over? How did we acquire it? So I think it's important to make sure we answer those questions as well while we're on this topic. You know, they're purchasing the property, and I want to make sure that everybody understand this is a private development. The city of Cape Coral is not developing this property. We are selling them the land for $20 million. It's a 47-acre parcel, the Seven Islands. Back in the day, we bought 491 parcels for $13 million, which was about 652 acres in the city. So this is only a small portion. You know, we only paid 13 million for 652 acres. We sold this for 20 million for 47 acres. Now we have to reimburse some of our water and sewer fund, about 3.9 million. So, you know, we're going to have a balance of about 16 million. Now there is some rebates, 3 particular rebates listed in the development agreement for about $2.5 million. A hotel, a marina, and the community center. And they have to get those done, the marina in 8 years, hotel in 10, community center in 6 years, in order to get that full rebate that I had mentioned. So even if you take that off of the 16 million that's left over, that gives us a net profit of about $13.5 million. So I thought that was important to mention before we moved on.
For sure. And that hasn't closed yet, correct? That's expected to close next month from what I heard.
Yeah, tentative date was around February 11th. So you can figure by the middle of the month it's supposed to close.
Now, the rest of the property that you still have in your possession, the city still has, is that all buildable land?
Yeah, a lot of it's up in the northern part of the city. You know, we got 300 and some acres up there on Burnt Store. We're waiting for water and sewer to come down through there. You know, Hudson Creek is going to be bringing some water and sewer from Charlotte County. That should be done here in about 18 months. So I think that's going to make those parcels up there a lot more valuable. So there again, we could try to sell those off, or see if there's a developer that wants to develop those properties. You got the D&D boat ramp property that we're trying to work out with the county now. Right now, work out with the county in a partnership in order to make that an expanded boat ramp facility. So there are a lot of other areas and opportunities out there for sure.
All righty. So the yacht club, there's some work seem to have gotten started at the yacht club. Can you get everybody up to speed on that? And maybe if you know what's going on with the request for information too, throw that in there just so everybody knows what the latest is with the yacht club.
Yeah, Yacht Club. Of course, we issued what's called a limited notice to proceed, and basically, it gave the seawall contractors the opportunity to get their staging and mobilize in the area. So that's why you're seeing equipment get down there. You'll probably here at some point see some additional security fencing going up. So they're mobilizing down there. My understanding by the end of the day tomorrow, they will get the full notice to proceed, where they can actually start construction. So all the permits are in place. Army Corps has already approved those. So I think here very soon you're going to actually see some work being complete. As far as the boathouse, I know speaking with the Kearns Group, they're going through their design and architectural drawings. They're biting at the bit to get everything they need to apply for the permits here at the city, so they can get started hopefully here by the middle of the year on the boathouse. So that's about where we're at, with those projects, and and then we'll have to take a look. The RFIs, city manager said he was going to get that out by the end of this month, and we're coming up on that. So get that out there. It's going to be out for 60 days. We'll see if we'll get any private developers that's interested in the city for the project down there that's been designed. So for now, as far as the yacht club, it's 100% design. The pier is 100% design. We're still waiting on Army Corps permits to be issued for the pier. So we're going to wait that 60-day process and see if there's any private developers out there interested in partnering. And then that'll come back to the council, and we'll make a decision if anyone submits RFI, if any of them look like something that we're interested in. If so, staff will move forward on that once they get direction from council.
Yeah, and the RFIs that you're looking for are based on the current design. Somebody's not going to put a proposal in for a different design. Is that the way it works? And then if they want to adjust it or do an offshoot or something, then you guys all have to talk that out. Is that how that whole RFI process will work?
Yeah, you have what's known as a RFP and a RFI. A RFP is a little more detailed oriented. It's, hey, here's the project exactly, and we want you to bid it exactly the way it is. An RFI is, here we have a design that we've already paid for, but we're open to seeing, what they want, or there could be an opportunity. You may just want to get a marina, and it says, hey, we'll do the marina aspect. We'll build the docks and we'll run the marina. And then you may have somebody that will come in and say, okay, the community center, we'll do that. Maybe we want to, have a wedding venue and things of that nature. The parking garage, there could be somebody that could come in and say, that's our expertise. We'll do the parking garage. We'll do the hourly rates, and we'll manage that. Or you could have somebody that come in and say, well, we're interested in this, or we're interested in that. So we'll see. The RFI is a broader approach, and we'll see exactly what we get.
So I've been asking everybody that we interview this question. I would like to know your thoughts, if you have any, on this. If you don't get, let's just say you don't get any RFIs, and the city has to decide what to do, what dollar amount are you comfortable spending on the yacht club?
Well, I mean, I think the question isn't really a dollar amount. Is what do you want to see there? Now we have a design, 100% design now. And we already know if we want to do that particular project, the last update that we got was about 197 million for everything. We just approved, the seawalls, which was about 24 million. It was about another 11 million for the docks. I definitely think that at a minimum, we got to do the seawalls, we got to get the docks, we got to get the harbor master building done. We're going to have to get some bathrooms for the beach, enlarge the beach, get that all done. And I think the question is, once you see what that cost is exactly, and we do have those numbers,
Hmm.
for me, that is a minimum that we got to try to get done. And then you got to look at the parking garage. You got to look at the pool. You have to look at the two-story, recreational center. Is that what you want to do? Do you want to phase it in over time? So we're about 35 million into it now with the, just with the seawalls before you even add in the 11 million. I heard a couple of the candidates say, well, I don't want to spend more than 50 million.
Right.
Well, I can tell you that's pretty much the
What you spent already.
seawalls and the docks, and you're there.
Yeah.
So I think the most important question is, what do you want to see there? Do you want to do it in phases? And, or do you want to make some changes?
Well, what do you want to
So,
see? What do you want to see there?
I want a rec center. I mean, we had one there before. Does it have to be the one we have? Of course it doesn't. And I think it all boils down to the dollar amount, 197 million. And one of the things that we haven't talked about yet, and I think we will, is how are we going to fund it?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that look like? 197 million. We talked about, with the debt, what's that debt going to look like? Are we going to have to raise the public service tax in order to pay for that? Or, you're going to generate some revenue from the marinas. We got to look and see what that's going to be. Are you going to generate some revenue from the parking garage? What's going to be left over? How are we going to pay for that? I can tell you, as far as the public service tax, I'm not in favor of raising that. But we got to look at how we're going to pay for it, and how much of a tax burden is actually, going to come out of the general fund for this. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of projects that we have to move forward. This isn't just one. We got a 175-acre golf course we just bought. We got a fleet facility building that hasn't been funded. We have a facilities building that hasn't been funded. We have a North wastewater plant that has to be built that hasn't been funded. So there's a lot of projects out there. So we have to look at the big picture, not just one particular project.
Do you, with all those things that you mentioned, you think you're going to have to raise the taxes next year?
I hope not. I'm not in favor of that.
Okay. I don't know anything about this question, but so I'll ask and see if you do. Charles says, why is staff showing the Yacht Club Marina work to be defunded in the workshop documents? I'll just throw that out there to see if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can gather what that may be to be defunded, the only way that it would be defunded is if a private developer came along and we eventually entered into a development agreement. But
we're not there yet.
No, we're not there. So that would be the only reason it would be defunded. I mean, we've already issued the contracts for the seawall, so we're on the hook for that $24 million, and all the design fees and all that. That's how we got to the 35 million. So, we're just going to have to, the next 60 days for that RFI will be critical to see what we're going to get if we get anything.
Gotcha. So the next thing I wanted to ask you about was, you said, I believe you said you met with Commissioner Wayne. You guys meet regularly now to talk about all the different issues that you work together on. And the thing that I was a little surprised by, because it seemed like they were moving forward with the bridge, is that they don't have the money or all the money for the bridge. So what is the status of the new bridge?
Yeah, the bridge, I mean, it's going to be funded. They're looking at it. What they are actually looking at in the discussions that we had last week with Commissioner Wayne, the county manager, myself, and the city manager. One of the things that they are contemplating is taking the Burnt Store Road project. That's, the little over 5 miles that we still have to do, is incorporating that into the same bond with the cost of the Cape Coral Bridge, the new Cape Coral bridge. So that's something that they're looking at. They haven't made a decision. So, the bridge is going to be funded. It's, they're looking at possibly raising the tolls as well. The tolls now are at $2. They're going to look at $3, $4, $5. So they're just looking at different opportunities on exactly how they can fund. I think both of those projects, because they've listed those both as a top priority to move forward.
So if they somehow incorporate a Burnt Store Road, that'll move up in years, I'm guessing, compared to what they're
Oh
saying
yeah,
now, 2036 or whatever the
yeah,
year.
exactly. They don't want to wait that long, and we don't either. So they're very aggressively looking at that. You heard about the 1% sales tax that they kind of put on the table for road infrastructure projects. They're looking at that. Their road impact fees, they talked about changing those to mobility like we did. A lot of people don't understand the road impact fees right now. They're only collecting about 50% of those that was approved. So will they change that and, get 100% of the road impact fees? I think that's on the table for them. So they're looking at a lot of different things in order to try to figure out how to fund these two projects.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the 1% sales surtax that was brought up is going to be on the ballot this year. After attending that meeting, it certainly looked like they were going to do a little more research before they raised taxes in an election year with 3 county representatives on the ballot.
Yeah, I would be surprised. I think their discussion, and I think rightfully so, is let's look at all of our options. To me, that's a last resort. The 1% sales tax, that's a last resort. So I think they got to look at all the options on the table first, and I don't think they've done that yet. I think they've recognized that, and they want to make sure they exhaust all the avenues first before they get to raising sales tax. But I agree. I don't think I would be surprised if you got 3 commissioners to support that to get it on a referendum in November.
Yeah, otherwise somebody that's in favor of it would need to get 30,000 signatures on a ballot to add it to the referendum this year. So, speaking of Burnt Store Road, the county has approved some safety upgrades, at least, kind of like a Band-Aid until they can get that thing widened. Were you happy with what they're planning to put there?
Oh yeah. In our discussion last week, this was one of the topics among a few other ones. The county commissioners decided to allocate $5.7 million for road improvements up in that area. Some shoulder paving, I think a center lane, some marking up there. So I was glad to see that. That is something they can do in the short term in order to make that stretch of roadway safer, and I think it'll be a great improvement. While we're waiting on exactly, doing the actual work and getting the work done that needs to be done in the 5-mile section to get that last link closed in on the chain.
So with the federal government seemingly in disarray, has Cape Coral received all the FEMA money from Hurricane Ian and whatever other hurricane you applied for money for? Has all that money come in from FEMA or was there any money that they dedicated to specific projects in Cape Coral?
Yeah, I mean, you had HMGP funding, hazard mitigation funding, and you got some CDBG DR funding. Hazard mitigation was about 82 million, about 44.8 million in CDBG DR funding. I was on the task force when we had that discussion. So there's about $127 million that we've allocated, about 24 different projects. And what most people don't realize, a part of the criteria when we received that CDBG DR funding and the hazard mitigating funding, there's 6 years from the time of event that you have to fund and start those projects. The hurricane was in September of 22.
3 years.
So we're a little over 3 years. So we're over half of way on that 6 years. So that's why some of those monies was taken out of the affordable housing bucket or silo, if you will, and moved over into some of the other projects because the developers were going, hey, we can't get it done in that 6 years.
Mm.
So they were trying to move some money around. Working with our federal lobbyists, we've heard that, and I know the county's going to go and ask for an extension.
Mm-hmm.
But talking to our federal lobbyists, I don't know if we're going to be successful in that. So we may lose some of that funding. So I think now we're trying to scurry around and try to see what projects are ready to go and what projects aren't. I think seeing if we can, I don't think we're going to get all that $127 million, if that's what you're asking. I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to have to try to see what projects are ready to move forward sooner rather than later. One example could be our emergency operation expansion project, that we put in for.
Mm-hmm.
We're in design now. We've got some state appropriation for that project. I think about 18 million, if I remember correctly. So it's already been allocated for that project. So we're hoping that we can move that project forward because some of these projects, there's a match involved. And since we have gotten some state appropriations for that project, that could be a good viable project to try to get across the finish line. So we're going to have to look at all of those, knowing that the federal government is, I think they are trying to pull back on some of the funding obligations that they put there. And I really believe if they have an opportunity not to fund some of these projects, they probably will. And I think they're going to hold us to that 6 years from the event. I'll be surprised if we get an extension.
So was there any affordable housing in your package of projects?
There were, I think, 2 projects that we had identified, but most of the developers that we had spoken to, just like some of the projects over in Fort Myers, getting the design, the architectural drawings, being able to fund those projects and get them built in that 6-year period just wasn't going to happen. That's why a lot of that dollars were getting moved over to other types of projects that wasn't in the housing silo.
So over on Fort Myers Beach yesterday, a Continental Hospitality Group withdrew its plans to rebuild the Neptune. It sounds like it was a financing thing, and they're right on the water there. So maybe they just decided the risk wasn't going to be worth it, and the return on investment wasn't going to be worth it, and they're selling the property. So does anything like that worry you about investors in Cape Coral, or is it a completely different animal? And I mean, what do you see with the people that you talk to about stuff like that? I mean, Seven Islands is going to take a lot of investment.
Yeah, I mean, just look back, after the hurricane in 22, in relation to now, what what you're seeing in the housing market in general, it's kind of flattened out. You don't see that big push in the housing market. Supply and demand. There's more of a supply out there than a demand. Interest rates have went up. They're not going. They've went down a little, but we still have some ways to go there. So when you look at the economic times compared to when we got the CDBG DR funding, it's a lot different. Mm-hmm. Back 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you were seeing a lot of multifamily type construction, and that's what you see a lot of times when you talk about affordable housing. And so I think some of the developers are a little concerned with the change in times in relation to 3 or 4 years ago. So that plays into their decision making for sure.
How are you feeling about the housing market specifically in Cape Coral and the buying and selling of houses? How is that going, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's my kind of wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. We used to have about 5,000 single family residential permits pulled each year in the city of Cape Coral. We're down to about 3,000 right now. So it has slowed down. Higher end houses are still selling. The market's fairly stronger in your waterfront higher end houses. Your lower cost houses, $300,000-$400,000 houses, that's where you're seeing more of a slowdown And with insurance rates, interest rates as high as they are now, that really hurts affordable housing, the $300,000 houses. So, it is a concern. That's just where we are now, but I'm hopeful that we're going to see another reduction in some interest rates, hopefully by April, and it's going to help that housing market. So I think we're kind of flattened out now, but I am optimistic that you're going to see us trend upward here throughout this year.
So one other question I wanted to ask you about was the new median rules went into effect in Cape Coral, the parking and the median. And can you kind of explain exactly what that means? Because it's hard for me to watch the TV news and believe it. So can you can you tell everybody what the rules are?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the medians. Absolutely nothing has changed in the medians.
You never were allowed to park there anyway.
You were never allowed to park there before, and you're still not allowed to park there. So the medians, has a specific regulation. You can't park in a median. So that hasn't changed. What has changed is the parking in right-of-ways, which is typically off the shoulder of the roadway. In Cape Coral, generally speaking, the public right-of-way is about 20 feet. So that's what has changed. What also has changed is improved parking and designated parking spots throughout the city on paved right-of-ways. Give you an example, there's a couple sections of road in the city that has a large paved shoulder, that's big enough for tractor and trailers to pull in. Those are the type of rules that were recently changed when we adopted the new parking policy. The police department is in the process of hiring new parking enforcement specialists. I believe they're getting trained right now. Hopefully they'll be out here in the next month or so to enforce the new parking regulations on commercial parking. And it's basically pertains to commercial parking, just trying to, we got tractor and trailers, dump trucks, just parking all over the city, see it all the time. And that's what we're trying to mainly curb, is those types of violators. And again, it's not that we're going to go and start towing on day one. We want to try to educate everybody, give them a warning, hey, let them know it's not allowed. And, and then I'm sure what we'll do is monitor that particular vehicle. And if we see it again after we've educated them, then that's a different story.
It almost seemed like Councilmember Stanky was worried about the Avon lady being able to park her yellow vehicle, or whatever color it is, pink vehicle, in the driveway. What was that? I got totally confused with that conversation.
Yeah, the driveway, that's something else hasn't changed. Right. You're allowed 2 commercial vehicles in your private driveway at your house. So that's still allowed up to a certain size. We had a gentleman at the council meeting here within the last couple of weeks. He had a 26-foot box truck or something of that sort. That's not allowed in a residential driveway. But if you have a pickup truck, or a van of that sort, XYZ plumbing or electrician, they're allowed up to two of those vehicles. Mm-hmm. So that hasn't changed. It's just the right-of-way parking. That's the only thing that's changed. And we did get a lot of people that reached out, I know, to me when we were talking about that before it was approved. Hey, can we still park our pickup truck with Joe's Roofing on the side? Sure, you can park it in your driveway. That hasn't changed. So some of this is a misconception.
Right.
You got some people putting out some inaccurate information on social media that's not factual, and it's gotten some people in an uproar.
Right. And this is really a safety thing, right? You as far as parking in the cities right away, you want to try and keep the drivers safe and the pedestrians safe, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of quality of life,
Right.
Do you want to see a dump truck pulling out in your neighbor's yard, parked in the right of way out in front of his house, because that was happening. And there's roads there's a variety of roads in the city that you can go to now that are just lined up one after another, that are tractor and trailers, dump trucks. They're just using it for a storage lot on city property. So, not only is safety concern, but it's also a quality of life issue throughout the city.
And I know I ask you this every show that we have, but you feeling good about the opening of JC Park on time and how things are going there?
Yeah, I think we're still on schedule. Developer has until the middle of April. I was there again, like we spoke about on the show the last time. It's coming along. They were actually digging holes for trees when I was out there a couple of weeks ago. So I know they're starting to plant. I think they have about 400 trees they got to plant. Not to mention, shrubs and bushes. And so again, I think that's going to be one of the nicest parks of the city when it's done. I haven't been there for months. When I went there a few weeks ago, and it wasn't done, and I got a wow factor when I walked through the gates. So I know once all the landscaping's done, the grass is in, and it's all completed, there's going to be a wow factor without a doubt for people that, if you compare it to what we had before to what we have now, it's noticeably a difference.
Any applications that you know of for the building, the restaurant there, and is that deadline passed?
Yeah, that deadline has passed. And I think the deadline was about a week ago or so, about the middle of the month, 15th, 16th, somewhere around there. Haven't heard how many people actually submitted. I heard that there was some submission,
Okay.
but I don't know how many. Again, that's got to go through a process through our selection advisory committee with staff, and it's here at some point it'll be brought back before the council saying we got X amount of projects or respondents for the RFP, and this is what they're recommending. This is what staff recommends, and then council will take it from there.
Oh, so it does sound like at least you'll have somebody to choose from, or a number of proposals to choose from. At least that's better than zero.
Yeah, I heard that there's at least one submission. I don't know how many, but we were told there was at least one person that submitted an RFP. So we at least know we got one to pick one from.
There
could be others.
Any other park updates that you want to share that you know of, or if different from last 2 weeks ago?
No, I think pretty much when I went through all the parks, 2 weeks ago, I gave a pretty detailed update, and no real change.
Okay.
Real change. Probably the biggest change is the notice to proceed. The full notice to proceed will be issued at the Yacht Club by the end of the business day tomorrow. So that's probably the latest and greatest update on that. I will tell you, to go back to the meeting with the county as far as Commissioner Ruane and the county manager. One of the other concerns we had was Del Prado Boulevard as far as the median improvements, because that's a county road. Right. The county allocated $500,000 for median improvements, so we should be seeing something done there soon. So that'll be good. We worked out a deal with the traffic signal at Pondella and Northeast 25th Avenue. City's going to pay for 50% of that signal, and the county's going to pay 50% because that is a county and a local road intersection, city road intersection. We talked about either a roundabout or a traffic signal at Kismuth, Northeast 24th Avenue. There's no funding at the county aspect for that project now. So that's still kind of on hold and having discussions on. We had a little further discussion on the D&D project for the boat ramp that we've been talking about for many years. So we're trying to move that along to finalize the deal. That's going to be a county and city partnership for that boat ramp to be opened up, revitalized, opened up, and make it larger and better for not only county residents but city residents also.
Great. It sounds like those meetings are productive with
Very, very, very productive. So, we're trying to meet about every 4 to 6 weeks, and we've gotten a lot accomplished. I think communication is key,
Yeah.
and having those consistent scheduled meetings to get the updates. I think helps not only the city but the county to bring those some of those projects to fruition.
Any other updates that you had on your list that you wanted to share?
No, I think we've kind of probably hit all of the topics,
Okay.
the things that we're advocating up here in Tallahassee, and I think we covered a majority of them. Unless you got any other topics you want to.
Well, I had one other one, and you announced your kickoff campaign is going to be in February. So can you share all the details about that? And is there a website that people can go to make a donation?
Yeah, we're going to have the website probably up and running next week, and we'll have some more detail. We put out kind of save the date. The event's going to be on February 10th, Palmetto Pines Country Club from 5:30 to 7. So we're going to probably get some more information out, our host committee and everything for that particular event out next week. And, to invite everyone out. I've been on the phone a lot talking to, a lot of people, and looks like it's going to be pretty well attended, and should be a great event.
All right. And that's going to be February 10th at Palmetto Pines, and we'll make sure to keep sharing that information. All right, Mayor. Well, thanks so much for your time, and good luck in Tallahassee, and bring back buckets of cash if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. And we're working hard up here. We got myself and 5 other council members that, we're banging on doors, and we're dividing and conquering, and,
Nice.
trying to bring that money back to help the residents of Cape Coral. So we're working hard.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Mayor. We'll see you at the next council meeting, and have fun up there. Stay warm.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All
Have
right.
a good evening.
Mayor John Gunter of Cape Coral, everybody, up in Tallahassee with some other council members as they're working the rooms up there to try and get things done for the city of Cape Coral. And we want to thank the mayor for coming on, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back Friday night at Hooked Island Grill for our next episode. Liza King is one of our guests, and another candidate running for mayor, Rich, will be on Friday night at 5 o'clock, Hooked Island Grill. Thanks a lot, everybody, and have a great Monday. Bye-bye.